Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and distinguished panelists. Welcome to today's discussion on how creative Nexus, amplifying voices for women-led development and innovation. For this session, we are fortunate to have distinguished speakers from diverse backgrounds, all striving for amplifying voices for women-led development and innovation. In the interest of time, I would like to direct the first question to Afu, the founder and CEO of Think Policy, focusing on improving policy ecosystem in Indonesia. Afu, your question is, what are the primary challenges that women-led NGOs encounter when seeking funding and scaling your operations? Over to you.
Thank you so much. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and honor to be here with all of you today. My name is Afu. I'm the CEO and founder of Think Policy. It's a social enterprise that works on public policy innovations, offering a one-stop solution to improve policymaking ecosystem in Indonesia. I didn't come from a very entrepreneurial family. My mother was or used to be to work at a state-owned enterprise as a salary woman, basically. My dad mostly was a stay-at-home father. And for 10 years of my professional career before just last year, I was primarily a researcher in academia working in the development sector. I was an environmental economist with the World Bank for 5 years. I was a climate policy researcher with the World Resources Institute for the previous 3 years before that. And so for me, what's normal, what's business as usual, was doing my own research in my own little desk in the corner and maybe working with a team on that. But the idea of jumping into and building my own or our team's own ship from scratch and fundraising on our own and building an organization on our own was very scary and there's a big unknown in front of me when I finally made that decision last year. And so if the question was what are some of the challenges for women-led organization to truly thrive, I would categorize it into 2 boxes. One would be the more internal self-limiting beliefs, and 2 would be the more external kind of support system and network that is required to do so. So for the maybe final 2 years of my time as a development sector worker, I've been revisiting the idea of basically resigning and starting my own company or a social enterprise over and over, mostly because I wasn't sure if I actually had what it takes to be an entrepreneur, because it's a whole other game of having your own team, having to fundraise and all of that, which is a different kind of skill set. But little did I realize that if I were to have a little more confidence in myself and a little more faith in myself, the 10 years of being a researcher and working in the sector, actually I have accumulated the social capital, maybe some financial capital as well as intellectual capital that is sufficient enough to actually start that journey. I mean, there will still be risks and other factors, but it starts from, again, that internal self-limiting belief to actually take that leap. And in my case, it was my partner who said a very simple sentence but changed my way of looking at it significantly, which is that he said, if there's anything that I know about you, is that you're a very quick learner. So even if there are unknowns to enterprising, to building your own company or organization, I'm pretty sure that you can or you would be able to learn it. There will be a learning curve, but that you would be able to do it. And because this is specifically challenges on women-led organization, right? I mean, there are research, proving how these self-limiting beliefs are more salient amongst women, I think, for the way that our upbringing, the way that maybe in terms of, and particularly, I was born in Cianjur. I'm a Sundanese. I was born here in Indonesia from a small town called Cianjur. And in my subculture in Sundanese culture, women especially were supposed to be humble and kind of, not overinflate ourselves, so that sense of confidence is not something that was just given for me. And I know this, especially maybe amongst Asian women, to be true. Of course, a lot of us have graduated from it, and maybe we're confident in so many different ways. But entrepreneurship takes a whole other level of confidence. I am quite confident. I'm not a shy, person, but to take that leap takes a whole other chunk of confidence. And even though I was sure that I wanted to innovate, like that we needed to build a separate organization to innovate in the policy space the way that we would like to do it, and I wouldn't be able to do it from any other organization, that self-limiting belief was really real for me. And so I think in terms of how we can overcome that together, I think amongst women entrepreneurs and or women-led organizations, it's so important to have those sessions, to hold those spaces where we can kind of just nudge each other, give each other more confidence over time, and I don't mean it to be to lie to ourselves about what we know or don't know, but I think it's realizing and being very conscious about those known unknowns and unknown unknowns, so that we would be able to work on it. So that's the more internal kind of self-limiting part. But I think what's also very true is the external support system. And I think part of the question was asking how to, in terms of financing the organization and also scaling the organization when it's women-led. And I think it's so true that somehow, and it's more cultural, and it's not necessarily always the case, and I don't want to create stereotypes that are not helpful, but I have been in rooms where, let's say, maybe organizations that may not have as much as social capital or not as effective as our organization are actually more confident about their ability than how like the women-led organizations sometimes are discounting like our own capacity or what we're capable of doing. And I think and amongst that network of maybe similarly like women-led organizations, I think the network that would enable exchanges of resources, social capital, and building the network is so important, and somehow not yet the rule for us to share information and network as productively or as meaningfully as we should be doing or could be doing more. And so I think there are a lot of progress. Actually, I have seen initiatives of either financing or capacity building that are more targeted towards women entrepreneurs, and I think those are great. And that particularly is not meant to discriminate based on gender, but I think it stems from the reality that there is that imbalance or asymmetry of again confidence, but also social capital and other types of capital or access and network amongst women entrepreneurs. And so I think collaboration in a sense of being more targeted in providing those support is so important for us to build that together. But I think part of the story should also be how both women-led and maybe more male-led organizations can equally collaborate to actually unlock new things and new heights. Because I think, and I don't know if this resonates with the people in the room, but I think this, male or female leadership sometimes translates into culture in the organization. So it's not about being women-dominated or male-dominated, but the culture of communication and just the culture of the organization also is affected by the male or female leadership. And so I think having more cross-pollination and just enriching experience and culture across organizations to get different kinds of lessons learned will benefit overall in moving forward. Yeah. think I've spoken too long. You've given me like quotes. But yeah, I think that would be.
Thank you, Afu, for highlighting about self-limiting beliefs and how you overcame that with the support of your family as well as with collaboration. Now, I'll turn now to Dr. Ibtisam Al-Kitbi. The question for you is, considering the intersectionality of gender, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status, how can inclusive approaches be adopted to ensure that all women, regardless of their socioeconomic background, have equal opportunities for economic participation and success in the entrepreneurship?
Good afternoon, everybody. I warn you, I am coming from political background. Okay. My relation to this session that I am a woman, but they call me general. And I am coming from a background of political science professor, and I have think tank concentrating in geopolitics. And founder of think tank in the Arab world, it's not something easy for a woman to be a woman. First of all, raising the fund and to be credible to get fund. So you have to work. And I worked from the scratch. 10 years from now, I started with one researcher and one secretary. Today, my think tank is the first on the Arab world, second on the Middle East, and my conference is Abu Dhabi Strategic Debate is the 10th rated on the world. So, and this is only on 10 years. So for all women wants to learn, I'm not feminist, and I don't like that when you talk about equality, that because you are women, you have to take the priority. No, you have to be qualified. And you have to have a will. And second, you have to believe in yourself. Not because you are a woman, you grab the opportunity. You have to work hard for that. What you mentioned, we call it in political science citizenship. Citizenship, it means it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are belonging, gender you are belonging, religion you are belonging, whatever, everybody should be equal in front of the law. And also equality goes to the same opportunity. I believe my country, UAE, is pioneer in promoting women, okay? And this is, if you have a leadership believing and pioneer in that, which we have in Sheikh Zayed, peace upon him. And his wife, Sheikh Fatma, they believe that women should take opportunity. And my generation got that. We got good education. They opened the doors for us. But if I'm talking about my career as a think tanker, it was not easy. Usually women, we get jealous from each other. In my career, men are jealous from me. And it was big challenges that she is going to fail. She will not make it. And this is what I'm talking, what is the will. You don't wait for somebody to help you. You have to go further and you challenge yourself and others. And this is what I did. Now my policy paper getting credible with my government. Because we do policy papers on geopolitics. We rationalize the decision maker. So equality, yes, you need, but it's not based only because you are women. And I won't make it too long for you, so you can have chance for others.
Thank you, Dr. Ibtisam. Thank you for highlighting the importance of availing equal opportunity irrespective of your gender. That was a very strong point. It shows that women are competent. We don't need a quota system or something like that. So that was the point you highlighted. Now I would like to turn to Ms. Peach Soteri, Deputy Director of Gender Equality. For your question is, how can, for you, the question is in terms of the key policy interventions needed to create enabling environment for women entrepreneurs, particularly those in sectors with high growth potential such as technology and media. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. For creating enabling environment for women entrepreneurship intervention, address various factors such as access to finance, education, entrepreneurship, and eliminating gender bias, implementing, supporting a policy, providing targeted training program, fostering network opportunity, and promote gender equality in the business ecosystem can all contribute to empowering women entrepreneurship. For the Cambodia Ministry of Women Affairs, we have the 5-year strategic plan for the culinary Rotanastic for promote gender equality and empowering women and girls. In 2024-2028, we have a core strategy with 6 priorities, and the first strategic we focus on women economic empowerment. In this strategic, we have 5 key priorities such as expanding policy environment support, expanding policy and investing support environment. For this, we have a draft national policy for small medium enterprise, and we also have a national policy framework on digital economic and societies and digital government policy. And we also have a national strategy plan on occupation and employment, national strategy on financial and inclusive. And the second, we focus on second key priority. We focus on develop entrepreneurship and women leadership MSMEs through Women Entrepreneurship Development Center, including we have 4 skills for them: entrepreneurship training and development, support for business startup and development, and also research center and nurturing of knowledge and networking, gathering women entrepreneurship. And the third priority, we expand about environment for women by addressing the gender gap in access professional skill. In Cambodia, we have 14 women center in the province, and this center we provide traditional skill like handicraft, like scarf, like palm trees, and this skill women when they get this skill and link to the market, it's very difficult for her to sell their product in their market because of the lack of financial support and lack of human resource support to upgrade their product into the high quality and into the modern technology, because right now we are 4.0, so we need to light their product into the social media. So this one is a third priority, and the 4 is promote care economic work-life balance. Is very important program. For this program, Ministry of Women Affairs, we support from UN ESCAPE, and we conduct the study, research, and plan to guide about the care economic. And the study, we only focus on actual situation and opportunity in Cambodia in response to the care economic. And also we will develop action plan to respond care economic. And this related to the care for the Ministry of Women Affairs. We have a care center, and we also have a breathing room for the women in official women that can bring their child when they after the maternity leave 3 months, and they can bring their child to the work. And for the Prime Minister, also commitment to have the child care at the public and private sector. So they push this to link with the 3 ministries to work on this. Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Education, and Ministry of Women Affairs to make this happen for the care center in public and private sector. And the last one is to promote community economic, including access digital technology, financial service, as our speaker mentioned about the financial service, financial access. Women is lack of financial access, financial capacity building related to this one. With this one of the CEO Women Affairs, we partnership with National Bank of Cambodia, support by Visa. We have to improve financial inclusive for women through knowledge and capacity training program, and manage and use the digital financial service to develop business, and we will continue this program with the supported by Visa. And the Women World Banking now in processing to develop a strategy on finance inclusive for women. And all this work, all this strategy, Ministry of Women Affairs will be to work with the all line, the related line ministry, developing partner, CSO together to achieve the women and economic empowerment. Related to gender equality is not our business, not anyone business. So we need to move up together, to work together to achieve gender equality in SDG goals. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Ms. Peach clearly highlighted the strategic plan of Cambodia in terms of creating enabling environment for women entrepreneurs. So building on the points raised by Meech, I would like to turn to Ms. Bhavna, who is the director at Accra International in Indonesia. How can innovative financing models and partnership be leveraged to support women entrepreneurs in accessing capital and resources for their businesses? Over to you.
Thank you, Sonam. My name's Bhavna. I'm probably the only person here from the private sector, and I think this is your last panel, so hang in there. We're almost there. I think I'm not known for long, elaborate sentences and known for my brevity, so please let me know if I need to speak some more. But I think that's a very good question, Sonam. And, you know, I always hesitate from panels that bring attention to gender diversity because, like our esteemed doctor said, we're not feminists. We're talking about ability, and we're talking about being equally able, which means increasing that ability which has been suppressed. So historically, that has been the case. I think now there's a lot of change happening, and I want to thank, of course, all our supporting our support systems, because we are all where we are with these support systems, and that includes men, so thank you. But as far as your question is concerned, to be more direct, I think the programs and innovative financing structures that can be done, some of those, of course, are already being done. There's gender diversity funding happening from government grants. There's gender diversity funding happening from traditional funds that are VC funds that are targeting women entrepreneurs. But I think there is something to be said about the community at large, existing businesses, private partnerships and corporate sponsorships, in working with financial institutions to increase financial literacy, in funding women who are trying to do small businesses, in upskilling them. For example, a textile business can create a partnership to upskill women who are otherwise working at home and can work from home to increase the productivity. There is something to be said about partnership with educational institutions. You will hear repeatedly something that Afu mentioned here, which is women don't feel as confident for whatever reason, whether that is historically, culturally. We are told that we need to fit in, we need to keep the family members happy. So we are always working with that larger purpose in mind. But an educational institution that can provide a seminar for women who can learn to present their point of view in an articulate way and bring their point of view across without feeling shy or lack of confidence is going to go a long way towards them winning those grants and winning those finances. These are small steps for countries that don't have large GDP per capita, but they can go a long way towards unlocking that productivity. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, very much. Thank you. Studies have also shown that women may not receive the same level of visibility or recognition, even though they are competent as their male counterparts, making it challenging in terms of attracting funding and support from donors, government, and stakeholders. With that, I would now like to open the floor for questions from the floor.
Magda Ropalo is my name. I'm the co-founder and president of Institute for Global Health and Development from Guinea-Bissau, which is also an enterprise that I've started 2.5 years ago. So I'm really pleased to hear from you on how you face challenges to move forward. I just wanted to ask, for example, for the colleague from UAE, you said you have been on the road for the past 10 years. How did you move into one secretary, one researcher, to the number of people you have today and the resources you have becoming top 10 here and there? What exactly did you do and how did you get there? Thank you.
Well, I said first you have to believe in yourself. And the first challenge, well, I'm always, it's no matter you are woman or man, that when you do something, you have to make a fingerprint. Something, look, I was looking to the think tank in the Arab world and always used to say, we have many tanks and we have few think tanks. The concept of think tanks, it's not there in the Arab world. I mean, policy think tank which can produce policy papers, be adapted by the decision makers, and the recommendation can be implemented, especially in the area where it's foreign policy, it's not an easy job. But how can you be credible first, and second, and third, the qualification. Qualification of researchers, this is something. The methodology. If you don't have methodology also, you don't have first vision also. If you don't have vision, I just started and I don't know where I want to go. You have to have roadmap. How you will reach that point? What does it take? This is first, and the quality I've never. I don't never. Leave the things that are related to quality in terms of the work we should do. By the way, we are just quite few teams. It's not about how many you are. It's about how qualified your team is. It's not about what take us to be the first, the work we have done. It was extraordinary in the it's not something everybody say, oh, you are different than others. You are different in the Arab world. Yes, we are different. This is where either you want to be in any institution you want to be initiated, you should have your fingerprint where you say, yeah, this is you. And the others following.
Hi, my name is Miriam. I run an organization called Her Afghanistan. By the way, I think this is the superb panel. I have a specific question in the sense that what areas do you think women that are untapped for women, and a specific guidance for other women seeking a role to enter those fields?
I'll take that lead to answer your question. I think we all have views on this. I will probably speak from my own view because I've had a finance background. And I had a very interesting background because I was in an industry at a time where I was literally the only woman at that level in seniority. Although I think in accounting and finance, actually women are very industrious. They're taught to be industrious, and there are not enough women in those sectors. I think more women can be in those industries, but I think if I was to guide, I would say that there is probably an education element to it, which is very important, and that's basic accounting. That basic accounting, I was taught, believe it or not, in school. So it can be taught early, in the earlier education system. And then once that woman has that basic information, she has the tool to decide whether she wants to take it further. That's my one basic news.
Yeah, from my side, I think maybe I would highlight not so much on the sectors, but that across sectors we need more female leadership, because I think that can have, that might change the way we solve many problems differently, just using, or at least enriching the perspective and how we approach a problem. I think if we can use the pandemic as a case study, for example, when we look at around the world how different government leadership handles the pandemic, there are different types of approaches and innovations that were led by particularly female leadership. So I think that would be, my across sectors.
Just for my view is related to this point. I think that women face in the leadership position because come up for themselves before first for themselves. How can they pushing into the comfort zone or selling? If the woman can push this one, so they can go to any sector that they want because they have the passion. So when they have the passion, but they cannot push through the selling, so the passion cannot come out with the society. So this one is very experience for myself because I'm at the countryside. I live in countryside. When I study at the primary school and secondary school, when I passed the secondary school, and the society and surroundings said that you no need to go to the high school and to the university because you are the woman and you cannot get work, or you cannot have the high position because when you get married, you can't be the family care of the children. And they said that like that, the burden is like that. And then for me, I want to push out from this comfort zone. I think that every movement can do, why I cannot do it? So I pushing from this comfort zone. I try to study and I come to this position, and the one that we need to create more about the women in role model, because in the community or society we lack of women in role model. So that's why they see around them the women stay at home, so they don't want to go anywhere. They just say that this family, female women stay at home to take care of their children, so they don't want it. So we need to get more role model in the community, especially in community, because we lack of this one. And if we make that more role model of women in the community, so we can push potential of women to be the high education, and they have high education, they will involve in economic development and they become the women in leadership line. Thank you so much.
I might be odd to you. I think it's unlike the West. The women from the Arab world to Middle East, Asia. There are quite few in the field of security and defense. If they are in defense, you don't find them also as Minister of Defense or Head of Intelligence or something like that. Plus, of course, think tanks, as where I am belonging. I don't know why there is barriers, Mariam, for reaching that. Is it because of women? They don't want to go to that field? Or because there are glass ceiling preventing women to reach that? Or because of it's also, you don't know, if it's family responsibilities. Sometimes, by the way, women, they are playing two roles. They are handling family and at the same time, they're handling a work. And this makes the challenges more in front of them. Thank you.
Thank you to all the panelists. We have time for one question. Please, when you question, please indicate the panelists you are addressing and keep your question concise. Just one last question.
Hello. Okay. Thank you. My name is Herza. I'm from Foreign Policy Community of Indonesia, and I would like to ask to all of the panelists. In today's day and age, there is still so much biases and stereotypes on women and opportunities that they can get. So what do you think the next generation should focus on to elevate gender equality, especially opportunities for women, and to erase these stereotypes? Thank you. I think it's still very high in stereotypes where women, if they have a family, they have to focus on raising their kids, and it's the husband that has to work. And therefore, if they have to focus on raising the kids, they cannot work. Stereotypes like that, I think it's still very thick everywhere around the world.
Quick question to Ebtisam, because she actually said something that I'm really interested in. Women leading think tanks, especially in Asia. And my question to you is that when you led that think tank out of Abu Dhabi and you were interacting with the world, where most think tanks and security and foreign policy think tanks were led by men, that journey would have been certainly daunting. Has it changed in the last 10 years, or is it still the same? Have things really changed, or are we really going to have the next Ebtisam face the similar challenge that you did? I mean, have we changed, or are we just doing lip service?
Well, Samir, they call me a sister of men, that I am half man, half woman. That's why they call me the general. Well, look, in fact, the young generation, unfortunately, because it's of an easy life. This is if I'm talking about the Gulf. Let's not talking about Asia, because still Asia, they are struggling. They don't want to, like my generation, we face many things. We face what you said, the cultural values, the social norms that, oh, by the way, my mother didn't go to any school. But she was a believer that her daughter can do something, achieve something she did not, or she couldn't. She prevented from. So I think the think tankers model, we should promote that, because still women does not go to that side, prefer more think tanker. What I mean is not about working in a think tank. Think tanker, founding a think tank, okay? Take your way in, there is a think tank, specialize in something, whatever it is. I choose geopolitics because this is my background. But whatever it is, and go from there, and you have your thing. I wish somebody also have think tanks in defense and security. This is something I deal with because I'm dealing with foreign policy. But stereotypes, maybe in the Muslim world, it is because of the wrong interpretation of Quran, that women should should cover their face, that even if they are covering they shouldn't go to work. This is wrong interpretation, and there are also wrong customs. We have lived under it, and then somebody has to break the ceiling and be pioneer in that, be a role model for that.
Actually, that was a, thank you for asking the question. I think it's a very pertinent question, but the reverse question was also pertinent in the sense that what gender biases are we discussing? And I think your point was towards the care of child, right? Child care. As someone in finance who had to drop my career when I became a mother, I have struggled to answer this question. I have been fortunate to find a spouse who is very supportive of a woman in career. But despite that, I have come to the conclusion that some of these things are not society-based, they are biology-based. At the end of the day, you are the woman, you have to give birth. At the end of the day, because you are giving birth, your child wants you around. You can have the most supportive husband on the planet, your child will want you around. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's a privilege. As much as it's work, it's also a very big privilege. So, I have come around some of these expectations and standards by accepting that some of it is biology, and some of it is, yes, when I walk into a presentation, I'm a little more prepared so that nobody underestimates me. When I'm giving a talk, I've read the questions and I've prepared to answer some questions so that people understand I'm coming from experience. One of the ways to break gender barriers, yes, it's a little bit of extra work, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I think we have to come across as people who know what we are doing so that people know that they cannot underestimate us. And you will slowly break those barriers. Women are breaking those barriers, and the fact that we're talking about it. This panel, articles, other news articles, they're amplifying voices. The amplification of voices is also helping break gender barriers. So I think we should not be afraid to speak to each other, take each other's advice, amplify each other's voices. That's part of it too.
Thank you. Now we've come to the close of this session. I would like to thank all the panelists and all of you. Thank you.